Hello students, today we will do example 3.8 which is related to our previous lecture topic Wheatstone bridge, and we will also use the Kirchhoff law. Now one Wheatstone bridge is given having the resistance value R1, R2, R3, R4. The resistance of galvanometer is 15 ohms given. The first thing for a Wheatstone bridge is to check whether it is balanced or unbalanced. If it is balanced, the things become very easier, but here it is an unbalanced. You check R1 divided by R2, that is 10, R3 divided by R4, that is 12. So it is an unbalanced Wheatstone bridge. The resistance of the galvanometer is also given. I is the current drawn from battery E of 10 volt. This I at the junction is divided into two parts, I1 and I2. They have given here I2. We have to take the current distribution as given. Otherwise, I must have taken here I minus I1 to reduce the number of variables. However, they have given I2. We are taking I2. This I1 comes to junction B. From that IG flow through a galvanometer. So remaining is I1 minus IG. At this point, IG comes from B and I2 comes from A. They combined, so total is I2 plus IG. Again this, both the current combined at point C, and IG is cancelled. I get I1 plus I2. So that I1 plus I2 is equal to I. Also the battery value is given. If the value of the battery is given, it is better if we take one loop which consists of a battery, so that the calculation becomes easier. Now let us see the Wheatstone bridge. There are three variables, I1, I2 and IG. So there will be three loops. Let us start from the loop applying Kirchhoff's second law to the loop A, B, G, D, A. Therefore, in the direction of current, in the direction of current means minus. Again in the direction of current, current is coming opposite. Plus I2, R3 is equal to 0. Substitute the values. Minus 100 I1 minus IG is unknown to us, that we have to find out. Value of G 15. So minus 15 IG. R3 60 plus 60 I2 is equal to 0. Dividing this equation by 5, we find out minus 20 I1 minus 3 IG plus 12 I2 is equal to 0. So this is our equation number 1. Similarly, apply the Kirchhoff's second law. So applying Kirchhoff's second law to the loop B, C, D, G, B. So in the direction of current, minus sign, minus R2, I1 minus IG. C to D, current opposite, plus sign, I2 plus IG. Again current coming opposite, plus IGG is equal to 0. Substituting value R2, minus 10 I1 minus IG, plus R4, 5. I2 plus IG plus G, that is 15. So 15 IG is equal to 0. We open this bracket. So minus 10 I1. Now if we see a G, minus minus plus 10 IG plus 5 IG, I am directly writing the step. So 10 IG plus 5 IG plus 15. So it becomes 30. 15 plus 15, 30 IG plus. Now only I2 is left, IG is added, plus 5 I2 is equal to 0. Now if we add this equation, if we say open the bracket and check this equation, so this is your equation number 2. Now let us divide this equation by 5 also. So we can divide this equation by 5. It becomes minus 2i1 plus 6ig plus I2 is equal to 0. So we name this as equation number 2. So this is second equation. Now third equation. So we will make the use of this EMF of a battery and we try to take a loop which is shortest, or we have a minimum number of variables. So applying Kirchhoff's second law to loop A, B, C, E, A. So we move outside this A in the direction of current, minus R2 R3, minus I2 R3. Again in the direction of current, minus R4 I2 plus IG. Coming out from the bridge, we get this minus terminal first. So on the right hand side I will write minus E. Therefore R3 is 60. So minus 60 I2 minus R4 is 5 I2 plus IG equal to minus 10. We open this bracket. So I2 minus 5 I2 minus 60 minus 65 I2 minus 5 IG equal to minus 10. Divided by 5 and minus is common. So 13 I2 plus divided by 5. So IG minus cancelled. So 2. This is my equation number 3. Now we have this 3 equation. So see, when we make a use of this battery, the equation is reduced to 2 variable. So you have to choose a path or a loop in such a way that have minimum variable. Now I have a relation between I2 and IG. So I will solve this 2 equation and convert them in the form of I2 and IG. It means I eliminate I1 or I make I1 as a subject. If I want to eliminate this, then I multiply this equation by 10 and then subtract both this equation. Now instead of that, I will try to make I1 as a subject. So multiplying equation 2 by 10. So it becomes minus 20 I1 plus 60 IG plus 10 I2 equal to 0. Therefore, 20 I1 is equal to 60 IG plus 10 I2. That is equation number 4. That is, this 20 I1 is taken to this side. So it becomes plus. So this is equation number 4. Now equation 1. So equation 1 can be written as again this 20 I1 is taken to that side. So 20 I1 taken to that side. So 20 I1 is equal to minus 3 IG plus 12 I2. This is my equation number 5. So see what is common. What we have made common is 20 I1. Now I equate this to equation. So comparing equation 4 and equation 5. So this I1 is eliminated. So it can be written as 60 IG plus 10 I2 is equal to minus 3 IG plus 12 I2. I take this IG to this side, 63 IG minus 2 IG is equal to 0. That is equation number 6. So now we are left with this 2 equation. Now one method is, I have to find, this is I2, this is I2, and this is also 60 IG plus 10 I2, yes, minus 3 IG and this is written as I2. So 63 Ig minus I2. So from this I want to find out Ig. So I eliminate. So one method is I multiply this equation by 13 and then I do the summation. Or from this I find out I2. So there are two methods. You multiply this equation by 13 and then add this both the multiply this by 13, multiply this by 2, then 26 I2 minus 26 I2, it will be added. Or this equation can be written as I2 is equal to 63 divided by 2 Ig. That is, I2 can be written as 63 by 2 Ig. Let us name this as equation 7. So it is better if we multiply this equation by 13 and this equation by 2 and then add. I make I2 as a subject. Now substitute this 7 directly in equation number 3. So substitute equation 7 in equation number 3. Therefore 13 I2, so that is 63 by 2 sorry, Ig plus Ig is equal to 2. Now 13 multiplied by 63 divided by 2. So I take 2 as a LCM and 13 into 63. So if you multiply this, it becomes 819. I take the LCM 2, so plus, that is 819 Ig, that is 63 into 13, plus 2 Ig is equal to 4. Now 819 plus 2, that is 821 Ig is equal to 4. 821 Ig. Now it is 4 divided by 821. So Ig is equal to 4 divided by 821. So it comes out to be 0.0048 ampere. So this is your Ig, that is 0.0048 ampere. This current is very low, so if I want to convert it into a milliampere, it becomes 3 points. We shift to that side, it becomes 4.8 milliampere. So this much amount of the current will flow through the galvanometer, which is very small amount of current. Now let us say question number 11 of the exercise. The question is, a 8 volt battery is charged with the help of 20 volt DC supply, where the internal resistance of the battery which is to be charged is 0.5 ohms and an external resistance of 15.5 ohm is connected in the series. We have to find out the terminal potential difference. Here the battery, the storage cell or a battery is being charged. So when the battery has to be charged by an external source, this external source has 120 volt. So plus is connected with plus and minus is connected with minus. So the current is being flowing through the cell which has to be charged. Now while doing the EMF, internal resistance and terminal potential difference, we were drawing the current from the cell. So that was a discharging mode. So in discharging mode, we have written this formula. So in discharging or during the discharging of a battery, the terminal potential difference V is equal to E minus IR. This internal resistance was due to the motion of ions inside the electrolytes due to impurities. We have discussed that factor. But during charging, during the charging, the current is being flowing through the cell which is to be charged. So terminal potential difference V is equal to E plus IR. This is the situation when whether the battery is being charged or discharged. Now I have to find out the total what is the terminal voltage of this. So I can apply the Kirchhoff law, or I can also apply this Ohm's law, where if I move in a circuit, it is clear that external resistance and internal resistance are connected in series. So first I will find out the total current in the circuit I, and because the cell is being charged, the terminal potential difference can be written as E plus IR. So total current I in the circuit, I is equal to total EMF divided by total resistance. Now directly this is Ohm's law, and if you want to try, you can also say you can apply the Kirchhoff law also to find out the current flowing through the circuit. Now total EMF, here total EMF can be written as 120 volt plus is connected with plus, so it is opposing condition. So it is 120 minus 8 divided by total resistance is 15.5 plus 0.5. So this is equal to 112 divided by 20. So this much ampere of the current is flowing through this circuit. So it becomes 56 divided by 10, that is 5.6 ampere. So this is how directly I can find out the current in the circuit. Now in this situation, this is 15.5 plus 0.5, sorry, it is 16, total is 16 not 20, it is 0.5 not 5, so it is 112 divided by 16, so that is equal to 56 divided by 8, that is equal to 7. So I is equal to 7 ampere, which is the current. Now this is using the Ohm's law or using Kirchhoff's second law to the loop A, B, C, D, A. Suppose we apply the Kirchhoff law. So here I am moving in the direction of current. I substitute equal to sign. I am moving in the direction of the current. First I get the plus terminal, so plus E. Then the current is flowing from A to B, so I come across an internal resistance that is in the direction of current minus IR, potential drop. Again I come across the negative terminal, so minus V, and then in the direction of current, that is I capital R. So if I take I as a common and the minus sign as a common, I can write I, R plus R is equal to V minus E. So I is equal to V minus E divided by R plus R, which is the same thing we have done, 120 minus 8 divided by 0.5 plus 15.5. So either you apply Ohm's law, if the circuit is simple, it consists of resistors and a battery only, or you can always apply the Kirchhoff's second law to find out the current in the circuit. In any case, the current comes out to be 7 ampere. Now direct formula, during the charging, V is equal to this. So terminal potential difference, V is equal to E plus IR, that is V is 8 plus I is 7 and this is 0.5. So this is equal to 8 plus this is 7.5. So this is equal to 11.5 volt. So here the terminal potential difference of the battery is 11.5 volt. Now the second part is, this is part find V first part. Now what is the purpose of a series resistance? Now see, if we do not connect this series resistance, if this is removed, the denominator becomes smaller, that is only 0.5. Now if this denominator is 0.5, the current will be doubled, that is 225. So that current is very high. It is dangerously high, the current. Even the 1 ampere current flowing through the circuit is very high. We have seen that when 1 ampere current flow, the number of electrons flowing through the circuit is very, very large. So if we don't connect this external resistance, the current drawn from the external source, this is the current drawn from this external source, is very high, which may damage our cell which is to be charged. So the series resistor is connected to control the flow of current. So this is the use of a external resistance. Now it should be clear why external resistance is always connected in the circuit in series. So the series resistor is connected to control the flow of current, else the current is dangerously, because it is very large value, so we write it is dangerously large, which may damage the cell which is to be charged. So this is one reason. Another reason can be, we know that the heat loss is equal to I square RT. Now if external resistance is connected, the current is being controlled in the circuit, the current is less, so the loss of heat energy is also less. As the time passes, the loss of heat energy would be less. So this is the reason why we connect an external resistance in the circuit which is to control the current. Now let us move to the next question, question number 13. Question number 13. The number density of the electron is given, length of the conductor is given, area and the current 3 ampere. So this is the theory where a conductor was connected to a battery. So electric field is established and we know the drift of the electrons. So electron will be drifted opposite to the direction of the field. The question is very simple. It asks how long an electron take time to drift from one end to the another. So we have to only find out the time. So direct application, we know that I was equal to NE ANEVD. ANEVD. This was our theory, the direct application. A is given, electron density, E value we know. Now drift velocity. So drift velocity will be equal to the length of the conductor, which is also given, divided by time. So I is equal to ANE L by T, and therefore T is equal to ANEL, which was also our Q, divided by I. So all these values are given. Area is 2 into 10 raised to minus 6 into current density is 8.5 into 10 raised to 28. E value is 1.6 into 10 raised to minus 19. The length is 3 meter and divided by the current, that is 3. So this 3 get cancelled. So you do this calculation. This is minus 19 minus 6. Minus 19 minus 6. So that is minus 25. and minus 25 and 28, 10 is to 3. You multiply all this number and simply find out the time. This time will be in second. So this is the direct application of the formula. This second can be converted into the minute or hours as the situation may be. If it is an MCQ, here the SI unit is second. So here you will get answer in second. Now next question is question number 15 of exercise. Here the 6 cells are connected. Each cell have an internal resistance small r is connected with an external resistance capital R. The value of the capital R is 8.5 ohms. Now clearly all these 6 cells are in helping condition, that is plus minus plus minus plus. So the current is being drawn from the circuit. The current is being drawn from the circuit, and since the cells are in a helping condition, we can add the total EMF of the circuit. So if I want to find out the total current, again, if you find a difficulty in finding the current, we know we can easily apply the Kirchhoff's second law to the loop. But here the circuit simply consists of cells and the resistance. So total current is equal to total EMF divided by total resistance. So total current I is equal to total EMF. Clearly all the cells are connected in helping condition, so it becomes 6 times E divided by all the 6 internal plus 1 external are connected in series. So I is equal to 6E upon R plus 6R. So I is equal to 6 into 2, the value of each cell is 2 volt, divided by 8.5 plus 6 into each cell is 0.15. So this is equal to 12 divided by 8.5. So this becomes 15 6 are 90, and we have 0.001, so it becomes 0.4. 6 by the 90, so 0.9, sorry, 90 and 3 points to this side, so that is 0.09. It is 0.09. So I is equal to 12 divided by 8.59. So this much current is flowing through the circuit, that is in ampere. So this current you find out, and it is left as an exercise. So it will come around. So if I take this value as say 9, then it will be 12 by 9, that is 4 by 3, 1.33 or something like this. So it is left as an exercise. Now I have to find out the terminal potential difference. Now terminal potential difference, here the charge is been, here the cells are being discharged, but we have to find out the terminal potential difference, that is V across capital R. We have to find out V terminal potential difference, means the total available voltage is 12 volt. Total available voltage from the cell is 12 volt. Now out of this there will be an internal resistance, so that is V is equal to E minus IR. So terminal potential difference is V is equal to E minus IR. So therefore here we have 6 cells, so it becomes 6E minus internal is also 6R, so minus 6R. Now this is equal to 12 minus 6 into the current. So let me find out the value of the current and write it. So let me find out the value of the current. It comes out to be 1.39, that is approximately taken as 1.4 ampere. So if I take this value approximately equal to 1.4 ampere, then it becomes 6. I is 1.4 into internal resistance is 0.15. So this is equal to 12 minus, let us do this calculation. So it is 6 into 1.4 into 0.015, that is 0.126. 12 minus this value, it comes out to be 11.87 volt. So this is the terminal potential difference. Now this we have used the formula where the cells are being discharged. You are drawing the current from the cell, and when we draw the current from the cell, all the cells are being discharged. And if you give the current to the cell, then the cell is being charged. Now, so one method is this, or simply, if I know the current, the potential difference across BC, that is the potential difference across the external resistance. So there are two methods. Either you find out with the discharging of the cell concept. Here there were 6 cells, so 6E and 6R. Or terminal potential difference across BC, which is also the potential difference across external resistance. Now you apply the Ohm's law here. So it will becomes I into R. So terminal potential difference is I is 1.4 into 8.5 ohms, that is given. So that is 1.4 into 8.5. So it comes out to be 11.9 volt. So this is 11.87, that is 11.9. If I take this complete values, so the same answer is there for a terminal potential difference. So that is the first part where you have to find out the current drawn from the circuit and the terminal potential difference. So terminal potential difference is the potential difference when the current is being drawn from the circuit. So the potential difference across AD, if I say what is the potential difference across AD, so it is 6E minus 6I. Now this AD is parallel to BC. So the potential difference across AD is equal to potential difference across BC, that is the potential difference across capital R. Now in the second part, it is given that find the maximum current it can find the maximum current when the EMF is 1.9 volt and the internal resistance is very large, that is 380 ohms is given. And then the maximum current, then the question is asked whether that maximum current can drive the starting motor of a car, or can a car can be started with the help of the maximum current flowing in the circuit. So you think about that. A car have a battery of 1.9 volt and the external resistance is 380 ohms. So clearly the external resistance is 0. So Imax is directly equal to E upon R, that is 1.9 upon 380. So this can be written as 19 upon 380 into 1 by 100. So that is 0.5 divided by 100, that is 0.005 ampere. Clearly this current is in the milliampere, that is 5 milliampere. But to start a motor, the order of current is ampere. The order of the current is ampere. So this much current, the current is very less, so it cannot drive or it cannot start the machine or the motor of a car, because the current is extremely low. The order is milliampere. So this is all about, we have a charging discharging of the cell. Numerical, you have to remember that when the cell is being charged, the current is given to the cell, and when the cell is discharged, the current is being drawn. So you are drawing this current, so these 6 cells are in discharging mode. Now we have done the series and the parallel combination of the cells. We have done the series and the parallel combination of the cell. Suppose we have a mixed combination like this. So we have done series connection of the cells and a parallel connection. Now let us consider a circuit like this. This is n number of cells, identical. E internal resistance is R. So n cells are connected in series, each having EMF E and internal resistance R. Similarly, we have a second row R, identical, and like this you have m rows. So m is the number of rows and n is the number of cells connected in series combination. Now this combination, suppose, is connected to the external resistance. Say this is an external resistance, capital R. So this is the mixed combination like this. This was a series combination. Now this is called as a mixed combination. There are n number of cells connected in series and we have m such rows. We have m such rows. Now I have to find out the current in the circuit. So these are the m rows. Let I be the current drawn from all this. Now first see this. All these cells are connected in series. So equivalent of this, all the cells connected in series. So EMF becomes E1 plus E2 plus E3 plus E4 like this. They are identical. So total EMF of each row is equal to N times E. Then total internal resistance of each row. So these are the N identical resistors connected in series, so NR. Now there are M such rows. So if I draw equivalent diagram, it becomes one cell whose EMF is NE, internal resistance is NR, then NE, internal resistance NR. Like this I have M rows. Now this is M row. Now I know that current in the circuit is equal to total EMF divided by total resistance. Total EMF divided by total resistance. Now what is the total EMF of the circuit? NE. Now if you remember, in the parallel combination, the EMF remains same. So if there are M rows, still the total EMF of the circuit remains NE divided by total resistance. Now this is the parallel combination, NR. So if I want to find out the equivalent resistance, 1 upon R equivalent is equal to 1 upon NR plus 1 upon NR plus dash plus 1 upon NR. Therefore, this is equal to, how many rows are there? We have M rows. If we have 3 rows, then it is 3 by NR. So here it can be written as M upon NR. And therefore, R equivalent is equal to NR upon M. This is the R equivalent. So cell in parallel combination, the EMF remains same, but the internal resistance becomes NR by M, where M is the number of row and N is the number of cells in each row. And we have the external resistance connected to it. So the equivalent of this is NR by M plus this external is connected in series combination. So total resistance becomes R plus R equivalent. That is the total resistance of the entire circuit. So this becomes Ne upon R plus Nr upon N. Now if I take the LCM, I is equal to MNE upon Mr plus Nr. This is by taking the LCM. So total current in the circuit is number of rows multiplied by number of cells into individual EMF divided by number of row into R plus number of cells into small r. So this is called the mixed combination of the cells. So now we have series combination of cells, parallel combination of cells, that is the theory portion we did in our lectures, and now this is a mixed combination. So if you remember this formula, you can directly apply, otherwise you have to do a oral calculation. This can be done orally, any. So in parallel combination, Ne should be the total EMF. Then parallel combination, this is Nr. So it becomes R equivalent becomes Nr upon M parallel combination, and then it is in series with external. So we wind up our lecture with this numerical. Have a nice day.